Dual Cultivation, WN, Chapter 94, Root of Vitality. Where do you think you are going, Su Yang? Lu Longji blocked Su Yang's path by standing in front of him, and she looked at him with a displeased expression. I will not be taking part in this event. My dignity will not allow it, he said with a nonchalant expression, yet his voice was as cold as ice. If there weren't any payments involved, there wouldn't be a need for me to turn around. Aiya, Lu Longji sighed loudly. Why are you being so stubborn? I am telling you that this is not prostitution. Of course, we are being paid by our guests for this event and that may make it seem as such, but they are the ones offering these payments, and it has always been like that since the founding of the sect. I have no problems with the sect participating in such activities, as that is its nature. However, that has nothing to do with why I refuse to participate. Su Yang said as he walked around Lu Longji. Lu Longji could feel her body trembling from anger at this moment. How could he be so disrespectful towards his seniors, much less the matriarch of this sect? She has never seen a disciple as troublesome as him. However, as much as she hated dealing with Su Yang, she also admired his techniques as much if not even more. Hold it. Lu Longji blocked his path again and began persuading him again. Then how about this? You are not participating this for the sect and instead will be participating for me. Su Yang looked at her as though he was looking at an idiot, and he continued to walk. However, Lu Longji blocked him off again before he could really go anywhere, and she continued to persuade him, fine. Then I will return to all the guests their payments. Will you stay now? Seeing her odd behavior, Su Yang remained silent, causing Lu Longji to feel apprehensive. The only reason she was going this far to satisfy him was because of what happened during the meeting she attended prior to coming here. The meeting consisted of nearly every sect elder within the sect, and it was there that Lu Longji revealed to everybody Li Cheng's death, which greatly shocked everybody there with ease. And although it took some time, after everyone there organized their minds and calmed down, they began analyzing the situation of having a new and unknown patriarch. At the end of the meeting, long story short, the sect has decided to start the processes of grooming a new patriarch a few years earlier than planned. And naturally, after Lu Longji experienced Su Yang's godlike techniques, he became one of the highest priorities in her list of talented individuals that are worthy enough to be groomed as a future patriarch. You really want me to participate in this event, huh? Is there a specific reason as to why you were so determined to have me stay? No, forget it. Su Yang decided to remain silent instead, as he could already guess her inner thoughts. Since you were this adamant on having me participate this little event, to the point where you were willing to throw away so much resource, I guess I could spare some time to check it out. Does this mean? However, I have another request, he suddenly said. You still want more from me? Surely, this must be the famous saying, give an inch and they'll take a mile. It's not much, really. I only want to use the Yin-Yang Pavilion to cultivate for a few days. What? You want to use the Yin-Yang Pavilion? That's impossible. Even if I ignore the fact that only the sect masters are allowed to use the Yin-Yang Pavilion, the patriarch would never allow it, said Lu Longji. Although she personally wouldn't mind lending him the Yin-Yang Pavilion, she didn't want Su Yang, who was known for being disrespectful to his elders, to bother the new patriarch, someone with an eccentric nature. Who knows what the patriarch would do if Su Yang offended him? Not to mention that Su Yang was also a candidate for the next patriarch, and it'd be a tragic event if he died because of something like this. However, Lu Longji then continued. I can give you the privilege to use the Chamber of Embrace for as long as you'd like. All free of charge, of course. You're being awfully generous today, matriarch. Did you wake up on the right side of the bed this morning? Su Yang chuckled. Lu Longji became speechless. She didn't know how to respond to him, so she decided to end their conversation there. Meanwhile, the disciples all wondered what they were talking about for it to take so long. If recalled correctly, weren't they already pretty late to the event? The guests might just forget about today and leave if they are kept waiting for too long. When Lu Longji finally left Su Yang's side and returned to the other disciples, she began leading them to the Chamber of Embrace. The Chamber of Embrace was located in a small valley near the center of the inner court. Once they arrived at the place, the group of disciples was greeted by a small mountain the size of a 9-story tall building with 5 cave entrances spread around the mountain. So this is the Chamber of Embrace. Su Yang narrowed his eyes at the small, unremarkable mountain before him. If one looked at it normally, the mountain looked no different than any other mountain beside its abnormal small size. However, when Su Yang used his all-seeing celestial eyes to look at the place, he was pleasantly surprised by what he'd found within this Chamber of Embrace. The root of vitality. It's bigger than I'd expected, he mumbled to himself. Beside the small mountain and its 5 entrances, there was also a few dozens of people standing around in the large open area beside the Chamber of Embrace. And once Su Yang and the others arrived at the place, they all turned to look at them with sparkling eyes, clearly excited to see so many handsome young men and beautiful young ladies.